Apologize once again for my tardiness. Thank y'all for being on with us today. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm all over the place, but appreciate you so very much. Let's get into this middle words of my mouth. And the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our redeemer, and it's in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. Aman. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being on with us. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. We appreciate your presence again. Thank you guys for being on with us. And today we're going to talk about, we're going to take some time out tonight to talk about a word that's oblivious. 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 Now, what in the world are we doing? Oblivious. What does that have to do with anything? Oblivious. Well, and I'm sorry, before we get back into that even further, once again, we give all praise and honor to Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. I want to talk about this word oblivious today. Shalom, peace to everybody. How you guys doing? How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? How you doing? Sister Kimberly, Big Aunt, Starter, Sister Beverly, Sister Marion, Sister Deborah, Brian, thanks for being part of the community. Appreciate you. To Lottie Dottie and everybody, appreciate you guys. To Minister Sonia as well. To the moderators, Ministerials, FSOC, we appreciate y'all. Come on in. Thanks for being on with us today. Shalom, peace. We're going to talk about this word oblivious, because if we can recognize this word oblivious, really that's what happens. And that's why a lot of people get caught up, and why we think that people are negative and this and that. I'm sorry. Okay. You want to ask me a question about gravity? I'm not really going until I don't know if it's a fight or argument tonight. I don't know if I've got the strength. You might just want to go ahead and be the winner off right. I don't know if that's the direction we're going. How you doing, Sister Dawn? But feel free to go ahead. Are you talking about you want to call in? If you're here to call in, tonight's not the night. Just letting you know. And I don't have that much time left. So if you'd like to actually talk to me and tell me what's going on, if you want to put in the chat what you'd actually just like to say, possibly we can talk about that. But today I've come to talk about oblivious, right? Now, when we talk about this term oblivious is something that's problematic for a lot of people, because a lot of people are oblivious to things. They don't really care what's going on around them, and that's really where we get most of our issues with. We have most of our issue with is things that are oblivious. How you doing, Miss Mac? Right? How you doing, Brother Alton? A lot of us are not things are oblivious. Excuse me, things we are oblivious to. Right? We are oblivious to things as far as nature. We're oblivious to things as far as natural law. You want the insight on? Okay. Yeah, sorry about it. Like I said, I just, I don't know if we have time for it tonight, but feel free maybe to call in or chime in, or just put in the chat if you like. I mean, if you put in the chat, maybe I can read it or whatever. But if it's something you need to say, I'm just saying I might have had a time tonight. But a lot of times we are oblivious to things. And because we're oblivious, and a lot of people are oblivious in nature. And so because we're oblivious in nature, it's very difficult for the average person to be able to comprehend how what they're doing might affect somebody else. Right? Hey, how you doing, Brother Jermaine? Right. So a lot of people, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to speak on certain things. It's hard to address certain things. It's hard to talk about certain things. It's hard for people to even see how what they do affect somebody else, because people who are oblivious, it might not even mean that they lack empathy. They just lack the ability to see past themselves. So if I can't see past myself or past my situation, or if I don't want to, or if I'm so busy having the world in rose-tinted glasses, I might be oblivious to your pain. And one of the places of forgiveness, one of the things that'll make it easier for you to start giving people the right to do something before they even do it, is to recognize their environment. A lot of people's environment causes them to be oblivious. People will do things that rip other people apart and then say, why are you so frustrated about it? Right? That wasn't my intent. Or even if they say that wasn't my intent, can't follow it up with, however, I can see your point of view. I apologize. Right? How you doing, Sister Rhonda? People that are oblivious in nature. And one of the things, if you're not careful, is that when you're setting up things, you can become oblivious as well. And so sometimes you being oblivious, you set up line, you or hook, line, and sinker, you decide to get with somebody who's a snake or do something like that. And now the snake starts biting people. And because you were oblivious or you chose to not worry about it, you had no boundaries that you set and things like that. The person simply did everything they told you they were going to do. You just were oblivious to the language that they spoke. Maybe you were oblivious to the body language. Maybe you were oblivious to the thought process. Maybe you were oblivious to the friends that they hung out with. Maybe you were oblivious to the fact that they never really cared for what you cared for at all, or at least they never, even if they didn't care for it, they never tried to take interest in it at all. And a lot of times, out of our being oblivious, we are frustrated and mad and upset and angry with people for them simply being themselves or being who they presented themselves to be the whole time. Right. And this, when the snake bites you, if it was a snake, it would have bit you type thing. Right. But a lot of times people are oblivious. And so you have to be aware. You got to be aware, and you have to be ready. You have to be mindful. How you doing, Minister Morel? You have to be mindful. I'm going to send you the stuff for Thursday. I'm going to send you a text about the theme for Thursday in the scripture, by the way. I meant to do that earlier. So you have to be aware that a lot of people are not necessarily mean. They're just oblivious. Like, not everybody was trying to hang black people from trees, but when you have a bunch of people whose argument is, well, it was just the times. Those are people that are oblivious, or who are making, excuses for somebody being oblivious. And nowadays, especially with technology, there should be no excuse for you being oblivious. There should be no excuse, right? If we preach something and we all say we're part of the same thing, and somebody preaches something and we all agree that it's the word of Yah, then, we shouldn't be oblivious to the fact and say that we did it anyways, right? If we speak on something as a community, if we love one another as a community, if we act upon service as a community, if we serve each other as a community, and somebody says, oh, I didn't know we were supposed to serve or love each other with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, like, that's something you got to be totally oblivious to unless you just came on the day, and unless you've never read a Bible, right? Like, other than that, we got to get to a place to where you have to start realizing, you know what I'm saying? You have to start realizing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Troll with the heart. How you doing? You have to start realizing. I'm sorry, you said your father called it naive. Yeah, a lot of people are naive. Some people have naivete, but I think the difference between being naive is like, oh, okay, you see somebody do something terrible, and then the person says, oh no, I didn't really mean it like that, and you just go, oh, okay, you go along with it. Some people are oblivious to where they don't even care. They don't even see it. They're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to see how people tell us, see the world however you want to see it. But when you see it however you want to see it, and then we go off of this whole thing that everybody has their own truth. Everybody has their truth. Everybody has their truth. Those are people that are oblivious to the fact that there cannot be multiple truths. Right? Like, you got to see you got to see that there's a lot of people oblivious of things and are living by things in that oblivious nature. Right? Matter of fact, let's look up the term oblivious. Let's see if there's something extra even that we can get out of it just by looking it up. Oblivious. It means not aware or not concerned about what is happening around one. Not aware or what? Not concerned. And that second part of the definition, not concerned about what's going around them, that is a huge piece, right? Because somebody can be, have you ever been around somebody who's smothering? Somebody who's out there laying or smothering or always in your business, and you're like, ma, friend, whatever, get you always around, you always getting, why are you doing this? Oh no. Well, guess what? Like, it might be in they might be oblivious. It might be such their nature that they don't look at anything outside of what it is. I have family members that people say, like, outright, like, they're selfish and they want you to do this and they want you to hate and blah blah. That's like, those people just might not know. I know people who've gotten divorces and literally still treat everybody in their life the same way as a person that they lost. And everybody, like, will tell them, hey man, you got this problem, man, deal with it. We love you, but this one area of your life, you're gonna have to fix it. But they're oblivious because they're not aware of they're not aware of the area of the situation of the environment around them. Sometimes it's because they could care less, sometimes because of lack of empathy. But you've got to be aware. You've got to start to become aware of those who are unaware. You have to start looking for those who are oblivious. Right? You got to start looking for those who are oblivious. You have to start paying attention to those who will come in, right, with a wrong mindset, but are oblivious to it because, hey, that's how we did it in church. That's how I do it at my house. You know, if I was in charge, I would do blah, 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 blah. But you're oblivious to the fact that you're not in charge of this house. You know what I'm saying? You're oblivious, right? Either you decided to ignore it or you just unaware, right? Either you just decided to ignore it or you just unaware. Remember, what does it mean? It means not aware or not concerned. So either you just not concerned with what is real or what's truth or what's fact or what it is or what the setup is or what the environment is or what my house looks like or what my wife does or whatever or my husband does, blah, blah. Like either you just unaware or you're not concerned. And see, when you're not concerned about the environment around you, you're not concerned about the people around you. Hey, how you doing, Brother Clem? And when you're not aware of the people around you, now we got a problem. Right? When you're not aware of the people around you, now we have a problem. Right? So somebody oblivious is not just that they're unaware, it's that they're not concerned. See, my concern about those that are in my environment is that you might not be concerned about others in my environment, and that's when we're gonna have problems. That's when you're gonna have to chill out. That's when you're gonna have to take a break from being around my people. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, he said that the problem with white America, really, he said whites. He didn't even say all that. He just said he said the problem with whites is that they are ignorant to certain things and they think that they don't have to be taught anything. So when he was saying certain things about racism, he said, look, there is not that there's no kind-hearted white person. He said that there's a lot of white people that are kind-hearted, but a lot of them don't feel they have to learn anything or grow or make changes. That's not being concerned with the environment. It's not even that you're not aware, you're just not concerned. Why? Because it doesn't affect me. That's when you become oblivious, right? When it doesn't affect me, yes, it's a Deborah, or Miss Max. Sorry, I got multiple Deborahs on Miss Mac. You know, this is something that we got to do. We have to be aware of this. When it doesn't affect me, now I'm oblivious. By definition, why would I care if it doesn't affect me? People would try to put that in the narcissism, things like that. No, they're oblivious. They could care less. No concern. No concern to even try to discern what's going on with us, right? You have to recognize that. You know, there's a lot of oblivious people out there. Yeah, no concern. Well, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe you should think like this. Hey, how you doing, babe? My wife is on once again. Check out my wife, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A and D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And thank you very much. And thanks for being on, babe. Love you very much. Right. A lot of people are oblivious. It's always interesting. Like somebody will come on the live session, right? Especially in the risings, and you'll have all these people that come on. I can't believe you do this. I can't believe you talk like this and blah, blah, and this, and you're bad. You don't know this and you don't know that. And it's like, how long have you been? And I'll be listening and I'll be waiting, not listening, but I'm reading the comments in the comment section and I start looking. I'm like, oh, you've only been on for like 1 or 2 minutes. You've only been involved with this 1, 2 minutes, haven't you? Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me. You don't know what SOC does. You don't know what we do for the community. Matter of fact, sometimes you tell me the place you're from. I realize you don't even know that I've done stuff in your community. Depending on where your community is, got a warriors to prove it from your community. But they're oblivious. See that oblivious nature. I'm not even concerned. I'm unaware, and I'm also not even concerned about trying to hear where you're at. Right? I'm not even concerned with trying to see where you're at. I know people don't believe this, but SOC, because people only think about social media, SOC's been around since 2007, 2008. I guess official since 2008. You know, like I appreciate everybody coming in here, but there's a lot of things that SOC has been doing for a lot of years. There's a lot of things that we've came in here for, and it's like, and somebody shows up in 2 months and like, well, this and this, and you need to change the carpets, and you need to do the drinks, and blah blah. It's like we're very mission oriented here. Well, if you did the blah blah, we're very repetitive here. That's part of the teaching. Well, you need to do this and do this, and blah blah. Well, guess what? Like, much love to you, and I'm not even talking about the stuff that happened recently, so don't even do all that right in your heads for those who know I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's interesting when you start doing this long enough and you start having your own company, your own organization, things that you're called to be over. I'm just trying to warn you, and I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to let you know in advance, be ready for people that come in and are oblivious to certain things, right? Beware of people who hear something and don't even say, why did that happen? Why do you do what you do? Be careful when you meet somebody who wants to be your husband but doesn't ever ask why, doesn't have a why as to you should be his husband. I mean his wife, excuse me. Right? Beware of everyone that wants to be your wife and doesn't have a why as to why you should be her husband. Doesn't have a why as to why they're qualified to be a husband or wife before you get married. Right? Be careful of people who never ask the why. Right? Be careful of people who never ask, they're oblivious. Just say it. Be careful of people that you meet to where you do something wrong. I'm just trying to show you something tonight. Be careful of people where you do something wrong. And when you do something wrong, how you doing? Uno, Nuno, my bad. How you doing? How you doing, Yashia? Right? Oh, Yashanma. How you doing, Zora? So beware when you meet people. Hear what I'm saying, Yashel. Beware when you meet people, right? And something's done and they don't like what you did, and they never ask you, what were you thinking or why? Why did you do that? Because they don't care, right? They're not, by definition, they're not concerned. They're oblivious. Look, if I saw, I know he might have done it in private and everything. If I ever saw Michael Jackson in public give an interview and he just started cussing everybody out, he started cussing all the children out, my first response wouldn't be, oh man, look at how terrible he is. That's what people do. That's what you've been trained to do. My first response would be, I'm concerned about why he did that. I've never seen him do that before. How you doing, Billy Ray? Right? Like if I see Kyrie Irving and all of a sudden, he might have been aloof, he might have been this, he might have been that, right? All of a sudden now he hates Jews. Even if I believe that, my first response would be what? My first response would be, I'm concerned why he would be an anti-Semite. You said, could it be narcissistic? It is narcissistic behavior. I don't know if it quite makes its way all the way to narcissism, because narcissism is just when somebody, is really overly concerned with self. Somebody could not be overly concerned with self and still not concerned enough with you. You know how they used to talk all the time about like flower children and stuff like that, and the flower children, the children of the 60s and stuff, like, and they'd make fun of them because something bad might be happening with you, but they weren't really concerned about it, but they were concerned about the earth, you know. It's all peace and love, man, and we should be able to do this, right? And somebody be saying, yeah, man, but I need help and this and that. But don't worry about it, man. Everything's gonna be okay. You want to smoke some weed? Like smoke some weed, like this person having a breakdown, right? Like they're oblivious. They're oblivious. It's not that, think about Shaggy, right? Shaggy is supposed to be the person's on weed. He would say stuff and it sounds like Shaggy's straight up stupid, right? If you're not careful, they make it to where it's supposed to be funny, but on Scooby-Doo show, it's like Shaggy's not only supposed to be like stupid, but he's oblivious. He's concerned about eating. He's always got the munchies, right? He's supposed to be somebody that's high. They just don't use that terminology, right? So that the babies can watch. But he's somebody he's always high. Scooby's his dog. Scooby gets a contact high. They always hungry. That's why they always hungry, right? And so he's overly concerned with self. By the way, him and Scooby are so scared of everything. Remember this stuff? They're so scared of everything. How you doing, Sir Stephen? Thanks for the love. They're so scared of everything that if the ghosts show up, they don't they don't worry about, is Velma all right? Is Daphne all right? Is Fred all right? Is Scrappy all right? They might grab Scrappy Doo. Remember the little Scrappy Doo character? They might grab him possibly and run away with him. But they're not really concerned about anybody. They just take off running, right? It's because they are not concerned. It's not even that they have no love. It's not that they don't consider themselves to be friends. But when the rubber meets the road, you will find out who's oblivious and who's not. Watch this. Watch this. Like, could it be possible that one of the reasons why some of us stayed in the world longer than we should have is because we were oblivious to it, because we were concerned with making our own way. I need to make my money. I need to have this. I need to have that. How you doing, Christina? I need to have this. I need to have that. I need to wear this. I need to have this on me. I need to put this, I need to make sure I got something in my pocket. I got to get them extra hours in. Wasn't even concerned about Christmas. You ain't had no time to celebrate Christmas. We just went out to pick up some more items so I can make some more tassels and stuff as orders continue to come in. And, when we went out, immediately stepped into place. Christmas this, Christmas that. Guess what? You got to have extra all hands on deck. There's people out there that work 2 jobs already, going to come and work 2 more hours each night at the place we just went to. I think we went to Michael's. Each night somebody going to be at Michael's working that much longer, because Michael's going to need all hands on deck and they need extra hands. So guess what? Somebody's got to come and they got to be ready to work extra hours. It's not even that they're worried about Christmas. They just in the system so much. So guess what? When you see somebody at the counter, if you got to be at the counter, guess what you say? Merry Christmas, no matter what. Just because that's what everybody says. You ain't even gonna celebrate Christmas. You ain't got time for that. If they let you work on Christmas Day, you work on Christmas Day. You ain't worried about going to mass on Christmas Day. You're not worried about going to a service. You're not even worried about seeing your family like that. Maybe you'll see them later in the day, but you figure they'll be asleep anyways. You ain't worried about that. You go ahead, you're gonna do what you got to do, because you got to make every single penny. You're so stuck in the system, you become oblivious. So people think, oh, they celebrating Christmas. Some of these folk ain't celebrating Christmas. They ain't got time for it. They're stuck in the system. They don't know how to get out. So they're attached to Christmas, not realizing they're in the system, in this Christos Mas type situation. They're not even aware of it, but they don't got time to worry about it. They got to work. Yeah, been there. You stuck, right? Friends and family still you. Oh well, it's okay. It's the only time I get to see my family. This and that. You so stuck in the system that the only time you make for your family is for holy days. So stuck that we don't even think, how do we get out of it? Is it possible to set my schedule up and have somebody take my place and I'll work during their holy days so I can make sure I see my family on my holy days? You know what I'm saying? So stuck, oblivious. It's not even a place. Sometimes there's some things you're doing right there. There's some stuff that you do to your spouse. I know you perfect in all your ways, but just in case you have some imperfections here, allow me to tell you some of your imperfections, especially the fights you get in with your spouse. Sometimes it's because you're oblivious. May I say this, brothers? May I say this, sisters? Sometimes we as husbands are oblivious to how our wives react. We don't know. We don't know women's needs in the order of the basic 6 human needs. When it comes to our husbands, a lot of wives don't know the basic 6 human needs in the order for them. Why is he always talking about that you don't hear him or you don't respect him or this and that? I don't understand it. I don't understand it, because respect is like, respect to him is like when you say you want to feel secure. When we're oblivious, we having fights about stuff because it's not our concern. We married the person, we sleep with the person, we had the person's baby. We want to be with the person forever. It's not even all that. But hey, I'm oblivious to how they speak and what their number one need is. Isn't it interesting that every man's number one need is respect? And then guess what his number 2 need is? It's sex. Women give sex when they get their number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 need met. Not saying there's no sisters that don't have a high libido. I'm just saying, and norm, right? You got to make sure you hit security, let her get affection, make sure she knows she's the only one, let her see that you're doing things, let her see that you're willing to die for her. You put them things together and then she's ready to go. But for a brother, that's number 2 on the list. Why? Because he's designed to give seed. So if you're oblivious to the fact that your husband gives seed no matter what, and even if you don't give it, even if he weren't to, pleasure himself, whatever, he would still get to a place to where he can't help himself. The seed would come out, and he's designed to do that for the rest of his life. He can't stop it. We were oblivious to that, and I'm sorry if you hear the little puppy in the background barking. She sounds bigger than what she really is. Got a hound dog. I'm about to go as soon as we finish this live. I'm about to go right down there to her again. But we're oblivious to things. If you don't think about the fact that I won't say every, because there's exceptions to every rule, but the heavy majority of women, right, especially wives, are looking for security, and then they're looking for affection. That's going to be number one and number two, right? That's going to be number one and number two. She doesn't like when you leave. You left, and that's why she started. Okay, yeah, I'll take her outside in a little bit as soon as we finish. But these are the things that are there. We're not aware of it. We're not aware of these things. We're not aware of how these items work. We're not aware of how these things play. It's not because you're not aware only. Also, remember, part of the definition is that you're not concerned. But why would you if nobody ever taught you this is how you show concern, not just in general and not according to your standard? Remember, John 13:34 and 35, a new commandment I give unto thee, that you love one another the way I've loved thee. Right? Remember that? That you love one another the way that I have loved you. And don't just love one another according to your love, right? The way I have loved you. I have loved you. And what we do is we're not concerned about loving people the way that Yahshua loves them. We are concerned about loving them according to our standard. And then when I love you according to my standard, why don't you accept my love? That's what we do. I don't know why you think that when I did blah blah and this and that, you need to get over it. That's not what I meant. That's not blah blah. No. Like, it's not your standard. If you're talking to somebody else, they have a love language. They got a whole love language. Love languages and not stuff just for relationships. Your boss has a love language. Whatever region of the country you're in, when all these ministers are starting to reach out and everything. And Ms. Mack, I just realized because of where you are, we didn't put you in a region. I think we're gonna have you and Minister Tamara link up. I just realized that. So my bad. Holy Spirit just got in my face about it. So I apologize. I just want to say that to you. My bad. Please forgive me. But when we have these people that are reaching out to you, right? Realize these ministers, they got love languages. And ministers, when we reach out to people, we got to realize they got love languages too. And guess what? The leadership style that we have, they have love languages. So speak to them in a love language as we should speak to you in a love language. I have a love language. Yes, I do. Right. And even though it's very rare that somebody doesn't respect my love language, respect me as a human being, respect my position as far as what it is in the community to assemble and stuff. But guess what? Like, I have a love language. My wife has a love language. My child has a love language. The SOC has a love language. My family has a love language, et cetera, et cetera. We all have a love language. But when you're oblivious to somebody's love language, even if you don't mean to do it, you'll treat somebody like however. How you doing, Adoria? I don't know if it's Adoria or Adoria, but thanks for being on. Right, like, you better be in tune with this. You want your man to do whatever you say. You want your woman to do whatever you say. You messed up love language. First of all, you should be looking for husbands and wives, not date night. Right now, let's go ahead and go. To I got a +1. Let's go. Right. That's the mindset that a lot of people have, a dating mindset. I got a +1 mentality. I'm gonna let's just go ahead and get it. Let's just go ahead and do whatever we feel like. Let's just go ahead. Let's just have fun. No, like, first of all, this is death do us part. If it's not death do us part, what we doing here? Oh, it's on the job. Okay, if it's on the job, what is the focus for all of us, and what is the ultimate goal and standard? And therefore, now, what do I need to do to be able to provoke you through your love language to do greater things than what you thought you had the capability of doing? Not just micromanaging you and telling you, hey, you better do whatever I say because you won't get paid. How you doing, Sister Sheeta? Salah, right? Right? Like when, and the problem once again, it's not that you don't have feelings for anybody else, it's that you're not concerned. There's a difference between the two. You can have feelings for your parents and still not be concerned enough to honor your parents. How you doing, Bantu? Right? You see the difference? Some people say, no, you can't. I can never. No, 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 no. It's quite possible that you can have love for somebody, but not be concerned about somebody. Because if I'm concerned about somebody, I need to discern what you're going through. I can't just say, well, I came to love on you this and that. Like, you come over and you do your love language thing and you sit there and you put your spin on it and you give them this and you give them the gifts and you can grease their palms and do all that stuff. And you leave and the person goes right back, not maybe even being worse, because now the person says, man, this person came and showed me love, but why do I feel worse? Because they didn't feel your concern. It happened. They didn't feel your concern. Hey, how you doing? Well, Anthony, I don't know why I'm having a problem with the name. I speak 1906. I don't know what's going on there. How you doing? How you doing, bro? Right? Like, a lot of people might love you, but they're not concerned. Sounds weird, but that's what being oblivious is that I'm not worried about you. I might not be aware of what's going on, or I might not be concerned. A lot of people do this. You ready for this? Somebody says, man, I'm in trouble. Somebody says, okay, I'm sending prayers. Sending prayers, like, call me, come over my house, like, write me a letter, put something on online saying, hey man, I just want this to be known. Please, people, pray for my cousin. I'm not gonna be able to be there for him, but hey, I'm really concerned about what's going on. Show some concern. People just go sending prayers. Now, I'm not saying you can't send prayers or healing energy or any of those things. What I'm saying though is that most people don't do that. Most people just go sending prayers up, sending prayers up. That's what most people do, sending prayers up. What does that mean? Lack of concern. Lack of concern, you're oblivious. When you're oblivious, you're not going to do anything about it. It's not that you don't have the ability to be empathetic, you are not concerned. That's a great question, Minister Tamron. Shalom to you if I didn't say so already. That's a great question. Like, you learn your love languages and then be concerned enough about the people you say you love to learn theirs as well. See, here's a practical example. And we don't have that much time left. And as you can hear, the dog's getting louder and louder and more frequent with the barking. So I'm going to be, I got to take my leave. She's winning. She's winning right now. Normally, I just let her go ahead and bark and bark and bark until, she realizes it's time for bed. But, I might take her out for another walk or something. But anyways, right? I told some of y'all already, I'm learning patience. I'm learning patience. I'm learning long suffering all over again. More than patience, I'm learning long suffering. Um, but when we go through these things, right? And we go through all these items, like watch this. The concern, I lost where I was talking about the puppy. I'm sorry. Help me, Holy Spirit. Where was I at? Where was I at? Uh I said it's different to somebody who loves you. Somebody, 5 love languages. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Here's a practical example. You ready? You speak your love language is words of affirmation. Your spouse's love language is acts of service. So you like when people speak kind words, right? Yeah, pets have needs too. Yeah. So you like it when people speak kind words. Your spouse likes it with action. So here you are every day, you know, saying, I love you. You're the best. You're the greatest. I can't make it without you. I hope that you would own. I hope that you know that I love you, man. Calling them on the phone, or well, nowadays calling them on the phone as children do, but we call them on the phone. I just called to say I love you. Click, right? Doing all those things, and you're thinking, man, I'm really sewing. I'm really entertained, right? The person though, they like acts of service, not gifts. Gifts is a different love language, right? So they like acts of service. They waiting, you know, Is the lawn done, or is the house clean, or you could at least make sure the children get a bath, or did you make food? Did you make dinner? Did you order dinner? Did you do all this? So you're speaking, 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 and then one day your spouse says, "You don't really love me, do you?" What you mean I don't love you? Men, we do this. We real quick to do this. Sisters, you sisters will kind of flip out on you. Actually. My brothers, our first what? I don't love you, right? I say every day I love you. I do this, I do that. Or what if it's the reverse and it's acts of service versus words of affirmation? Hey, you see how much money I make? You see how I go to work? You see I'm willing to break my back? You see I'm doing this, blah, blah. You start going through this long list of stuff. Men can't ever talk, but then we ready to tell you every last thing, right? And that's that we do to make sure that you comprehend you're wrong. I love you. But what if her love language is words of affirmation? And she says, I love you. That's the first time you said it. Then you get upset. The first time I said it. But I just told you, don't you see all the stuff that I do? You're talking two different love languages. It's not that you don't have any love for the person, but you don't even, you're not even concerned enough about the person's language to learn something outside of yourself when it comes to communication. That is your problem. In that situation, that's the problem. The problem is not that you have no feeling for them. That's not what they're saying. Love is an action. They're saying the action that I speak in is different than what you do. Somebody tells you, I don't like the way you do blah, blah. Like, hey, if you're going to be with us and you're going to be part of this group and you're going to be part of this team and you're going to be on the job, hey, when we do this, it looks real bad when you do blah, 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 blah. Somebody says, oh, well, you know what? That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean, the way I do blah blah, that's fine. But what if your love language is something that's actually hurting your team? Are you willing to learn another love language so that your team will be better? Or are you just going to go ahead and ride this thing until you become right? Not righteous, but right. Right. It's a terrible place to be if you can't even see it. A lot of people can't even see it coming once again because you're oblivious. So what I ask is this, as we gotta get ready to take our leave. What I ask is this and this alone. Please, ma'am, please, sir, take time out to not just pray only, which you should first, but after that, take time out to actually do a self audit, to do a self examination, to have some self accountability, and start asking yourself questions and writing notes, even if you need to see what you're oblivious to. Because the person whose first response was, "I ain't oblivious. I can't wait to tell my friends. I can't wait to you probably number one on the list." Because we all have something we got blind spots for. Real talk. We all got stuff that we got blind spots for. Real talk. So I would like for you to just be honest about it. Could it be possible that people, instead of it being like, man, every time I go to here, or how many people I've met plenty of people like this. I used to be one of these people. Every church I ever been to, they got this problem with me. Maybe because you got a problem. I had to start saying to myself, even if I learned that I was doing some things that were righteous, still did not have to say, am I saying it in a righteous manner? Do I got to preach everything? Am I being led by the Spirit to preach that? Or do I just want people to know how much off they are when it comes to the Bible? Maybe they can't hear me because I got righteous things to say, but I'm not, or I got right things to say, but I'm not righteous when I say it. I don't have to be right. I need to be righteous, right, lawful standing. So take time out. Maybe what your spouse has been telling you is true. Maybe what your job has been saying about you is true. I'm not saying it has to be. I'm saying take honest assessment. You said, how will we know? Well, I say take honest assessment. If somebody says, you don't listen to me, take time out to see if you can recall conversations. It's going to be difficult. Or during conversations, take time out to note. If you're always told you always speak and you won't let me finish anything, don't even, when the person starts talking, don't say anything during the whole conversation. Wait to see if they say, you don't have anything to say? And then it should dawn on you, wow, they're surprised that I don't have anything to say. Maybe I do talk too much. Maybe I heard. Take time out if it's one of these babies, niece, nephew, children, etc. Take time out to actually hear them instead of telling them what a child's place is all the time, and see if you actually learn something this time. You said people would tell you if you're more than one person has told you the same thing about yourself. Yeah. Once again, and that's a great point, babe. Once again, like, see if there's something that a bunch of people said about you. Now, I'm not saying it always is 100% accurate in that. There's going to be multiple things that are going to show up over and over again. But like I said, take note of things. Ask yourself questions. We don't ask ourselves questions anymore. You said people say you're pushy. Yeah, well, ask yourself some questions. Uh, Ask yourself, like here's something, and I'm not talking about you right now, specifically, Sister Mary. This is in general. Here's something. Ask yourself, if you did that to yourself, how would you take it? Yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but listen and observe. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to take it as gospel or what they call gospel, Godspell. But you don't have to take it as the proper interpretation. Just take it, at least taste it and see. You know. But just think about that. Even like, would you take off yourself what you give to others? And be honest. Once again, like, think about it. Think about your neck position when you was and your finger when you was telling whoever that they couldn't just say whatever, right? Like, if you did that to yourself, would you fight yourself? Would you cuss yourself out if you did that to yourself? He said you could never be your friend. Well, and guess what all that means? Because I feel like that sometimes, like, man, I can't stand myself right now. Like, man, I need to get it together, man. We all have times like that. If that's the case, then guess what you do? You just, all that means is that, okay, there's some things I need to address. And I'm going to be greater today than I am tomorrow. Doesn't mean you're not great just because you have problems. It means you can be greater. That's it. You said you in a mirror right now. You said, what if what gets you is somebody doesn't think they should treat others the way they want to be treated? Yeah, right. And so that's what we're saying is like, be, don't be oblivious anymore. Oblivious doesn't mean you don't have any care for somebody. It doesn't mean you don't have any love for anybody. Being oblivious means what? It means that I literally am not concerned about somebody. That's when it becomes problematic. That's when it becomes problematic. It's not about whether you're a nice person or you can be nice and still not be concerned about somebody. There are people that are nice people who will watch. I keep saying we're going to get out of here. I promise we're going to get out of here. There are nice people. And look, I learned this in New York City, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., all up and down the East Coast, Raleigh, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, um, Pensacola, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, the list, and then we can keep on going. The list goes on. When I was stationed in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, when I lived over Great Lakes, Illinois, right after boot camp, and even around boot camp and stuff, even when I got out the military, it's the first place I went to live. Like, I've been in basically Chicago, Illinois as well, like kind of in and out around that whole area quite a bit. Like, I've been to quite a few different places. I've traveled the world some, and I'm here to tell you, I'm just here to tell you, I'm here to tell you, I promise you, I've been to many places where people who give donations to organizations that help the homeless, those people will walk past the homeless on the street. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to tell you, like, there's somebody right now that you give to the children that don't eat, whatever these organizations are called, right? You give to the children that don't eat food. And I promise you, you pass homeless people who need food all the time and don't give them nothing. But you give to organizations that make sure that they take care of them. It's not that you don't have any care. You feed the children. Thank you, Ben. That's one of them. That's a big one, right? And some of these organizations, what is it? They use like 80 something percent of their funds to make sure that their organization runs, and then only use like 14% to actually do what they say they're going to do. People will give to organizations to give for them because they care. They have a heart. They care, right? But it's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't care. Once again, it's about they're oblivious. They are not concerned. You said you work for a huge nonprofit and the CEO refused to give money or food to those in need on the street. There you go, right? Happens all the time, right? You look at all these sports places, all these people, yeah, we can't wait to give to this, wear pink for cancer, do this, blah, blah, all this stuff or whatever. And the owner ain't giving nothing to nobody. Robert Kraft, everybody said he was so faithful to his wife and this and that or whatever, and he was doing great things, and Tom Brady was so great. Robert Kraft was going in and out of that place to where they had sex slaves where was it? Was it Miami or Florida somewhere? Was going up in there and having sex with them sex slaves, making it back in time for the game on his private jet. Wife passed away. No problem. He kept on doing what he was doing. After that, he just got married to a new young thing. He gonna keep doing what he's doing. Tom Brady's supposed to be the excellent marriage and all that. He decided to play football rather than make sure that he stayed with his wife. That's basically what it boiled down to. Football was more important than his wife. His wife kept hearing from him over and over. He was going to give up football for his family. No, it doesn't matter. I need to keep playing. I need to keep playing. It's just something I got to do. Don't understand. I got to play until I'm 40, 40. Okay, 40's passed. No, I got to play until I'm 42, 42 passed. No, I got to play till I'm 45, 45 passed. Now he's trying to say I got to play till I'm 50. She checked out. Now all these people are sitting up there saying, if I was Tom Brady, I keep playing too. So according to y'all, because I don't think that his wife is all that, and I didn't even know what she looked like until they did their breakup officially or whatever. Just Gisette, whatever Bunchen, whatever her name is. I didn't know what she looked like. Don't really care. Not my wife. My wife is better than her, and my wife looks better than her. I ain't tripping off that. But what I'm saying is this, right? I told y'all before I got the greatest wife on earth, so they don't compare. However, like if y'all think, and he thought that part of the attraction to her was that she's supposed to be the greatest woman out there as far as she got all the looks, she makes all this money, she's good, makes more millions than he does, this and that or whatever, and you decided that it was more worth it to play a child's game than it was to be with your wife. And that's what we put up there. But guess what? We don't realize that's a nation of people, that's a nation of fools that are oblivious. You know what I'm saying? That's a nation of people that are oblivious to something. Yeah, we have to be aware who we're giving our money to, sure. Right? Yeah, we have to be careful who we're giving our money to, for sure. Be led, ultimately. I'm just telling you that if we're led to always give it to a company, but we're never led to give it to the person, that's what the Bible says. That how do we say that we love Elohim, who we've never seen, but we say we love our brother or our sister, and we see him every day? And how you doing, Hammonds? Thanks for being part of the community. Appreciate you. So at the end of the day, my brother, my sister, it's time for me to take my leave. Do a self-check. Bring an oblivious meter, if you will. Right? And if you need help, maybe ask your family. I know that's going to hurt, that's going to sting, but ask your family. What are some things that I don't be paying attention to? Right? Ask your brethren. Is there some stuff that's there? Watch this. Ask your leadership. Ask your boss. I know you don't want to do that. Ask your boss. Hey, is this if there was something you wanted me to pay more attention to, what would it be? Ask your children. You'll get humbled, no matter what age they are. I promise you, there's a 2-year-old out there that'll tell you some things that you need to be better than. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Hopefully I don't have anything showing. I can't tell, but ask somebody. Ask somebody. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you, you might be shocked. As somebody who's been waiting, they just been waiting with the list. They've been humbling themselves, waiting for you to say thank you. I appreciate it. They've been humbling themselves, waiting for you to just give them the opportunity to tell you they love you too much to make you feel bad about yourself. But hey, I'm so glad that you asked. They're gonna go through the little device. Yeah, they're like, are you scrolling right now? Yeah, I'm just trying to find. I got about 10,000 on here. I'm trying to get it down to about 15. Hold on. They've been waiting for this moment. To let you know that you could be greater. You could be better than what you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that might be the worst thing to be oblivious of all, is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with us becoming greater by simply realizing that we might be unaware of some things, or we just might not be concerned about certain things that we should be. Is that not why you came to Yashua? Is that not why you left Cirque? Is that not why we becoming a family like this? Is it not why you've heeded the voice? Is it not why the word of Yah is making more sense to you? Right? Because you realize you could be greater. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. Let's go get it, Yashel. Thank you for being on. And let's check that Oblivious meter. And hey, if you guys need help with it or whatever, y'all know how to reach out. We say this all the time. Reach out if you need to reach out. No problem with it. If I can't get to you right away, I am quite busy, getting busier. We're going back in the lion mode, I told y'all. But if you need help, let us know. Heck, if it's not me, or even if you try to get in contact with me and for whatever reason I can't do it, guess what? I will make sure we have ministerial staff. We'll make sure that we get you connected to the right person. And then I promise you, I'll check in on things. Right. So I appreciate you. I honor the king and queen in each and every one of you. Even if you're not living inside that kingdom or queendom yet, we appreciate the potential king and queen in each and every one of you. Take care. Be safe. Remember, December 24th is coming up soon. That's this upcoming Saturday. So Women in Red event, please be ready, sisters. Everybody's invited. We have the Google Calendar invite out already. If you weren't on that list for whatever reason, I will try to look into making sure that you're added on. But if you're not on that list, let us know. We appreciate you. We'll have another SOC meeting. Probably going to be more like game night and stuff this time, or game day, whatever you would call it this time. But we'll have another SOC meeting this Saturday. We hope to see you guys there. We thank you. We appreciate you. We honor you. We look forward to having great conversation from this point on and continuing to get better. Please check out my wife, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And we thank you so much. So we appreciate you. We honor you. We look forward to talking to you guys very soon. I'm sorry. My wife said I had people that are overly honest in my life, and they let me know about me. All right. Amen. So, you know, we need to have that and have that time with each other, have that time with ourselves, have that time with the Most High. And I encourage you to do so. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, right here on YouTube or on Kofi_43. Not on number 2, but on number 3. And we'll continue the Sermon on the Mount series. I believe we're in Matthew chapter 7, verse. Actually, we'll be doing Q&A tomorrow. So come with your questions, come with your answers. I'll try to remember. It depends on where I'm going to be doing it from. If I'm doing it from the car, maybe not so much. But if I can find a little small whiteboard, maybe we can do it. But we'll look at bringing out the whiteboard, writing some stuff out as necessary, doing some Q&A, and continuing to grow one with another. So we thank you, we honor you, we appreciate you, and we look forward to talking to you again. Please study this word and meditate on, so you're not just a hearer, but you can be a doer simultaneously. And remember, as always, your affirmations, right? Romans 8:1, Romans 8:11, Romans 8:18, Romans 8:19, Romans 8:28, right? Which is what? Romans 8:1. We're not under condemnation because we fall after the spirit, not after the flesh. Romans 8:11, the same spirit that rose yesterday from the dead dwells within us and will quicken our mortal bodies. Romans 8:18, so the suffering of this present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed. Romans 8:19, and the creature, the creation, is waiting on the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. Romans 8:28, all things therefore are working for our benefit because we're called according to Yahweh's word, and for we love him, we ahaba him, we do his actions correctly, right? And therefore all things are beneficial for us. And then the bonus one, Romans chapter 8, verse 37, therefore you are more than a conqueror. Stop thinking on a conqueror's level. You are more than that, right? Be obedient to that. Run till that, as we used to say back in the day, right? So thank you again. We honor you, and we look forward to Barak Allah Atsham Yahweh. May the blessings be upon thee in the name of Yahweh. And as always, it's been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voices and speaking the unspoken. Until we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, yourself, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in the system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Peace.